surprised are you that a third of the population are seemingly unaware that this is a problem?
I'm not really surprised, to be honest. I think most of the people that I help in prisons and in schools and colleges, the issues they face, most of the members of the public are completely unaware of it. So,
but it is a fairly new phenomenon, isn't it? County lines?
No, not really. It's just now it's got the name county lines. But when I was growing up in my community, it was elder kids who groomed the younger kids, the younger, more impressionable kids, to do their dirty work. We've just given it a label now.
Were you young and impressionable?
Yeah, I definitely was, yeah. When I was growing up, most of the men on my council estate didn't have a father, or the father that they did have was in and out of prison or addicted to drugs. So in the absence of a father, you look for a role model, and then role models often became the elder kids in our communities. So in many ways, Bill, it was the blind leading the blind, but the elder kids exploited our vulnerability to make themselves money.
And was there an attraction to being part of a gang?
For us, it was safety. It was safety in numbers, you know, and a lot of the people that you meet, a lot of young men in the prison system have experienced childhood abuse, childhood trauma. So when you've experienced that in your own home, you're naturally going to look for safety elsewhere, outside of the home. And when you look at a young group of men who have all experienced childhood trauma, they're going to come together. It's like a shared experience. It's very similar to men that return from war zones, except a lot of these young men, the war zone is in their own home.
And once you found that sort of shelter, as it were, it can't be that easy to break free from the gang.
Well, from my experience, it was difficult, because when I was released from prison the first time, you're released right back into the same community with the same people committing the same crimes. And, you know, as soon as you've got a criminal record, it makes it very difficult to get a job. And then in the other ear, you've got an old friend saying, well, just take these drugs and sell it. And I think that's why we see so many people who get released from prison reoffend in the first 2 years. I think it's about 75% of inmates who get released return back to prison within 2 years. So it's a massive, massive problem, and, you know, not enough people know about it. And the way I feel is that I don't think a lot of people really care about it either.
And what are you doing now about it? How did you rehabilitate, and what are you saying to parents in order to help them spot the problems?
Yeah, so I've been sober for 13 years, and I made a decision when I was released from prison just before my 19th birthday that I would go back and help others. But first I had to change my own life. There was a lot of things I had to learn. There was a lot of things I had to unlearn. But once I'd figured that out and set up a successful business, I set up a non-profit organisation called the CIP Project, and we go back into schools and prisons, all voluntarily, and we help young people as well, not normal members of the public. And it's about education and prevention and using my lived experience to help others. And I think when the people in power can see that lived experience has great value, I would say more value than a qualification you could get at a university, then we'll see these problems start to get solved. That's what I genuinely believe, because when I was in prison, if you had have come and approached me with all the qualifications under the sun, I wouldn't have trusted you. But if you was an ex-convict who turned your life around, I would trust you a lot more. And if I trusted you a lot more, I'd open up to you. And if I opened up to you, I then get to the root of the problem a lot quicker.
Just finally, Michael, is the government listening to you?
I've been lucky enough to speak in the Home Office and the Houses of Parliament. There's a few MPs, in particularly Dame Carol Black. She's a huge supporter of the work I'm doing. But my experience is, having spoken about this in the Houses of Parliament, a lot of the MPs say all the right things when you're there, and as soon as you leave, it goes very quiet. So I just don't think it's enough of a problem yet for them to do anything that's really going to tackle it.